Welcome to Wildcat Science with Mrs. Haugo. This is Physical Science, Chapter 1 on Forces, and this is 1.5, Part 1, Sliding Friction. This is the last section in Chapter 1 and our last experiment for Chapter 1. So please open up your books to page 11 and follow along. To push or pull something with your hand, you must touch the object, that is, you must be in contact with it. The same is true for the force of friction. When you hold a book above a table, there is no friction between the book and the table. For the table to exert a frictional force on the book must be on the table. Does a horizontal tabletop exert a frictional force on a book resting on it? To find out, push very gently in a horizontal direction on a book resting on a table. If you push gently enough, the book will not move. Yet you can feel that you are pushing on the book. Apparently, a frictional force is balancing your push. Okay, here's my table and here's my book. So I am pushing on the book and the book is not moving. So yes, there is friction between the book and the table. So push the book a little harder. The book may still not move. The frictional force is once again exactly balancing your push. Of course, once you push hard enough, the book will move. The frictional force is a strange force. It does not appear until some other force is present, and up to a point its strength depends on the strength of that other force. So I have my table. Then I have my book, and I'm pushing a little bit, and now I'm pushing harder, and the frictional force balances the little push and the harder push, and then up until a little bit of a harder push and the book starts to move, and now my force is bigger than the frictional force. Turning the page to page 12, what factors affect the frictional force between two objects? To help answer this question, you will use a spring scale and a wooden block, just like in figure 1.6. The block has a wide surface and a narrow surface. One of the wide surfaces is covered with a non-skid material. So in part A, we will investigate the effect that the kind of surface has on the force of friction. Clean your lab table thoroughly. Be sure to zero the spring scale while it is on the horizontal position. Begin with the wide covered surface of the friction block in contact with the table. Use the spring scale to measure the smallest force that will be needed to pull the block slowly across the table. Use only enough force to keep the block barely moving. The procedures that you used in the preceding experiment will also be helpful here. Take several readings. And there are a couple of questions. What is the smallest force that keeps the block moving? Should you be concerned about the friction between the spring scale and the table? Why or why not? Read the experiment. Repeat the experiment with the wide, uncovered surface of the block in contact with the table. And then answer a couple of questions. What is the smallest force that will keep the block moving now? Does the force of friction depend on the type of surfaces that are in contact with each other? And then part B. You can also pull the block when it rests on one of the narrow surfaces. The weight of the block is going to be the same, obviously, because it's the block, as when it rested on the wide surface. However, the area of contact of the block and the table is now smaller. With the block resting on one of its narrow surfaces, repeat the experiments you did in part A. So we're going to be putting it on the narrow surface on the table. Then we're going to be putting the narrow non-skid surface on the table and seeing how much force it takes. And there are some questions. Does the force of friction depend on the area of contact between the block and the table? And we'll worry about 10 after we do the experiment. So please find your 1.5 Prelab for sliding friction and you can pause the video until you have that opened. Once you have that opened, you want to come to the purpose, and we've come back to using a Google Doc. So there's a text box in here. You'll want to double click on the text box, and your text will eventually pop up. There it is. The purpose is to, and you want to click there and then finish the sentence, and you'll want to put your best guess of what the purpose is. What scientific principle or what variable are we testing, and then make sure to write it in a sentence and put a period, and then click Save and Close. Once you have that done, you'll want to come down to the next one, and please pause the video until you're done with the purpose. Now that you're done with the purpose, you'll want to come down to the next one, Steps of the Experiment Summarized. And remember, we're looking for all the important steps of the experiment summarized into 5 categories. Not just 5 things, but the 5 most important things of the experiment. And you'll do this just like you would in class, picking out from your book what you think the important parts are. And once you have your 5 steps, you'll click Save and Close. And you'll want to pause the video until you have that done. Next, we'll come down to our prediction, and we'll double click on our prediction, and there are 2 predictions here. Then we'll want to click right in that box. There we go. So one prediction is if you think the surface area will affect friction, the force of friction, and how. More surface area, more friction, or less surface area, more friction. And then your second prediction is the type of material, the type of surface. So if you think the type of surface will affect friction and how. I think the wooden side versus the non-skid side will have a higher force of friction. So 2 predictions there, and then you'll want to save and close. Make sure you write them in sentences and put periods. And then once you have this all done and beautiful, you will want to turn that into Classroom. And next time we're going to be doing the experiment, so I'll see you then for our kitchen table lab. Bye.